It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi everyone, I'm Gary Shorman. This is the Forum on Eagle Television. It's brought to you by Hayes Med. We're going to be talking about eating disorders, and if you're a parent and you have a child with an eating disorder, what do you do? And our guest is Kellie Crnkovich, and Kellie lives in Ellis. And Kellie, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you make it to Ellis, Kansas?
Well, I kind of fell in love with a guy who lived in Kansas.
That can sometimes do it, yeah.
So I moved from Stockton, California to Ellis, Kansas in 2010. We bought a house and we've been there ever since. We love it.
Well, Ellis is a good community, and in the process of living there, you lived there, I think you told me, since what, 2010?
Yes.
2010, so you've been there now almost, 7 years. And in the process, you've had a son that's developed an eating disorder, and I'll call it eosinophilic.
That's right.
Is that close?
Yes.
Eosinophilic eating disorder, and it goes along with how you can eat and what you can digest. It's hard to say, but it's a complicated little deal, isn't it? Tell me about what the effect is there.
It's very hard to say. It's eosinophilic gastrointestinal disease. Mm-hmm. The most common form is eosinophilic esophagitis, which affects the esophagus. Mm-hmm. He has it in his esophagus, his colon, and his ileum, which is the rarest form of the disease. Mm-hmm. What it is our body produces eosinophils in our bone marrow. They go out when you get an infection, and they cause inflammation and cause healing in the area where your infections are. Well, his body and other kids that have this disease has decided that the food proteins that are in the gastrointestinal tract are parasites. So it's going in and it's attacking those food proteins inside the body, which causes inflammation. It can cause ulcers, bleeding, then it causes constipation, diarrhea, trouble swallowing. He gets food stuck in his, feels like it's stuck in his chest, like he can't swallow. So he has to drink a lot of stuff to try to get it to go down. So and it causes severe pain. He gets severe migraines.
So there's a lot of things that go along with them that you take a look at. So as a mom, Kellie, one of the things first thing you can go and look online and type in eosinophil, and it'll tell you about that sort of thing and how your body rejects certain things. But your job is trying to help him grow up to be a young man, and in the process of doing that, trying to find ways to help make the illness better, and that's been quite a task, as I understand it.
Yes. It just getting diagnosed took years. I mean, it started out with he was having stomach pains all the time. They thought that because he's autistic spectrum disorder also, they said, well, a lot of kids with autism complain about stomach aches. Then they thought, well, maybe it's irritable bowel syndrome, so we put him on IBS medications. Things kept getting worse. He was getting like every flu, every strep throat, everything that went through the school. And in 7th grade, he was playing football and basketball, and we ended up in the hospital 4 times with him going anaphylactic. Couldn't figure out why.
You're great with these words, by the way, and I've come to find out you have medical training in your background, so you're good with all these words.
Medical terminology helps a lot. So it ended up so then we ended up deciding, well, we need to do something, and then he got really sick. He couldn't go to school. Took him to Waukene Hospital, and they ran CT scans, found that he had inflammation, which was causing impactions. Mm-hmm. And he had ileitis, adenoiditis, his spleen was a little enlarged. So we started going to GIs. We went to Salina first, then a pediatric GI in Wichita, which was the first person who said it might be eosinophilic because she noticed the look in the esophagus. It makes the esophagus look like it has rings and like little skin tags all through it, little white dots. Mm-hmm. So that's when I came home and I found a support group for parents to try to figure out more about this disease, and found out that the best place to go was to go to Children's Mercy because they have an eosinophilic clinic there with Dr. Stephanie Page. Mm-hmm. So I called, talked to her nurse for a long time, and she kept going back and forth with Dr. Page, and they agreed to see him. And that's when he had an endoscopy and a colonoscopy, and they found it.
So to do this, to actually solve or help the problem, what do you have to do? Because I understand it's quite expensive for the food because there's specialized food and special things that your son can eat. And with that comes a cost with that, which is why you ended up in Topeka,
Yes.
correct? Just quickly, tell me a little bit about the food.
It depends on what their triggers are. We start trying to figure out what their triggers are and avoid food. Like he avoids anything with dairy, wheat, rye, barley, potato, eggs, soy, seafood, shellfish.
A lot of food.
Yeah. So he can't eat anything. You have to read every label and check it. He was losing weight. He was not gaining. So we added the Splash, which
Yeah,
is
just hold that up.
Neocate EO28 Splash, which he drinks. Some people drink a powdered formula that they mix with water. There's different kinds. It's an amino acid based formula that's made in a lab. So they take out all the proteins so the body doesn't react to it. That way he can get the nutrients that he needs when he's not eating very much, because it hurts to eat for him, causes severe pain.
Yeah, this looks like a fruit punch drink, but it's a lot more expensive than that.
Yes, a box of 27 of those costs $132 at the minimum. That's the lowest price I could find for it.
Well, then I don't want to try it. This says grape and raisin. I'm not sure it's how tasty it is. So you end up, part of it is because there's a lot of cost that goes, especially the age of the child. It can be very expensive doing that. And so you were in Topeka. Tell us about your trip to Topeka and what did you do there?
Well, we started out a few moms. Andrea Jones actually started it with her representative who wrote a bill to try to get insurance companies to pay for the formula. A lot of insurances will pay for it if you give your child a G-tube, which involves surgery and having a tube in their stomach and tube feeding them, but they won't pay for it if the child agrees to drink it, which is better for the kid. So she got Ed Trimmer to write the bill, and it's now in the House Committee on Insurance. So we went down there to talk to them about the costs and how important it is for insurance to cover it for these children, because it's not just a formula they're drinking. This is their nutrition. This is the only way they can get it. With such limited foods, and some kids are on no foods, because if you get to the point to where nothing is getting rid of the eosinophils in the biopsies, then you have to go off all food. And you can only drink the formula. They do that for 3 months. Then they do another endoscopy and colonoscopy. And if there's no eosinophils, then you start introducing one food at a time.
Wow, so you explained this all to the legislature, and you did that. How were you received down there?
Very well, actually. It seemed like they were interested in what we were saying. We were lucky. Our doctor from Children's Mercy also came and talked. The bill is based on another bill that was presented and passed in Illinois that the Cured Foundation helped write. So we have the head of the Cured Foundation that is working on finding a cure for this disease and donates all of their money to research, to the people who are researching it, because it only affects less than 1% of the population. So there's very little research being done on it. And she was sending us a lot of information and got the bill started. So that was awesome to have their help getting it done.
Well, Kelly, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk about what you expect from the legislature and what you find as the most challenging part of this process. Our guest, Kellie Crnkovich, and she has a son who has eating disorder and working with the Kansas legislature to find ways to make it better. Back with more after this.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
Are you frustrated with Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? It happens when you don't have Pulse, the cutting-edge Wi-Fi solution from Eagle Communications. A Pulse-certified Eagle technician maps your home, then installs a dual-band modem and router, plus discrete access points to deliver wall-to-wall Wi-Fi with no dead zones. Pulse powers all your family's devices in all the places you love to live. Get Pulse. Wi-Fi made simple. Only from Eagle Communications. Call today.
Welcome back to the second half of our Forum program here on Eagle Television. Great to have you watching along. The Forum's brought to you by Hayes Med. And I always ask you to send me special notes, comments, maybe suggestions for next show. I'd like to hear from you. My address is gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. You can also go online on Facebook if you'd like to do that. In Facebook, type in ECTV Forum, and you can send me a note there as well. Again, thanks for watching the forum. Our guest is Kellie Crnkovich, and Kellie is from Ellis, has a son that has an eating disorder, a disability that's in a sense not being able to eat and has to have special food. You've been down to Topeka to talk to the legislature about how you can make it better. What do you expect of the outcome from that, your trip?
Well, we are hoping that the House Insurance Committee will pass it, and then it will go to the full committee. Then if it passes through there, then it will go next to the Senate, and we'll have to go down and testify again before the Senate, and then it will go through that process.
You load up in the car, go down there and do that. Were you scared to be in front? You don't seem to be too scared to be in front of cameras. It's usually me that's screwed up and gets scared in front of cameras, but you're doing great.
I was nervous, but it was important. This is something that affects families in Kansas and children and our children's future. I want my child to grow. My child had quit growing for a year. He didn't grow. A 13-year-old boy didn't grow any taller and had lost some weight. That's scary. The formula, been on the formula for 3 months. He's grown like 1.5 inches and gained 12 pounds.
And so you explain this to the committee?
Yes.
And it'll work through the legislative process. I assume there's other families there as well?
Yes. Yeah, we had Andrea Jones and her son Caden from Winfield down by Wichita. And then we had our doctor, Dr. Page, was there to talk from Children's Mercy.
What would you give advice to other, because every family can deal with different issues with their children. You've taken on yourself to go down, be part of the process, try to change the process. What advice would you give to other family members or other families that are in the same boat, maybe with another illness, another disease?
I think it's just not giving up. It's just trying to stay together as a family, work together as a family, find solutions and ways of making whatever you're facing work. I've tried to teach my son, because he gets pretty upset. He's 14. He can't go to pizza parties. He can't have birthday cakes. You know, he can't do things. Has been so sick that he's on virtual homeschool so that he can have breaks throughout the day, because trying to go in for a whole day of school is exhausting. So it's just look at the positive things that you have and try not to look at the negative. You do have friends that you talk to on the phone or you go and visit for a little bit. You're doing well in school even with all of this. You know, look at the things that are positive. We're going to find a solution. His doctor keeps telling him, we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out. We're going to get you stable so you can go back to school.
And finding the right doctor. You worked
Yes.
through that to do that too, and I think you found a great doctor,
Oh,
Dr.
she's
Page,
awesome.
that has been very helpful for you as
Yeah.
well.
And then we do stuff for other things. Like right now we're in the middle of planning a big Kansas Walk for Cured. And it's going to be in Hutchinson in October. And a bunch of us moms are coming together and we're going to do a walk to earn money for the Cured Foundation so that we can find a cure, get research done.
You know, you mentioned the other moms. You also have a support group that's really pretty interesting, because whether it be that or quadrophilia or any of the things like that, different types of things.
Yes.
You can have support groups to help you understand what to do better.
Yeah, finding other moms has just been amazing. We found other moms all over the country, and then even the world. I mean, we have ones that we talked to that are in Africa, Australia, England, and we all support each other and help each other through what's going on with our kids. And then we have another Facebook support group that's for Kansas moms and families, and we sit there and we talk with each other. And it was nice because for Caden and Joey, they really hadn't met in person anybody who had their disease until they came together at the house to do their testimonies. And then they're both in 8th grade. Caden's 13, almost 14, Joey's 14. And so they got to meet and talk and meet somebody that had the same disease.
Well, if you're a parent out there, has someone special, has a special need, find that support group, find the right resources to help make things better, and then do what Kellie's doing. Try to find a way to be a part of the process to do that. So Kellie, thank you for being here on our program. Kellie Crnkovich is our guest here. She's from Ellis. Glad to have her on the program. Glad to have you watching as well. Our program is brought to you by Hayes Med and by Eagle Communications, our community connected.
It's a beautiful day in our super high-speed internet great customer service neighborhood. Like you, this is where we live. In fact, our company is employee-owned, so it's our goal to improve the quality of life for everyone in our community by delivering faster, more reliable internet, clearer, more feature-laden phone service, quality TV channels, all with the level of customer service you'd expect from people who are your neighbors. Eagle Communications. Our community connected.